Feeling headache, being tired, exhausted, having problems focusing, worrying about what's going on in the world, maybe, seeing from really close by what's happening with refugees maybe in your area, not knowing what to do. Well, all this is connected. I will elaborate on this in this video. I will share with you more in depth what is happening, what is causing all this discomfort, and what you can do, how you can change things for yourself, and how you can even contribute to others without needing to sacrifice. So stay tuned and be open to get new perspectives. Like, subscribe, and share. Hi, welcome to a video of mine. So you probably have been experiencing a lot of tiredness, exhaustion, headaches, lack of concentration in the past few days, or you may be still experiencing it. And you're wondering like, okay, what is happening? Maybe you already heard other people also experiencing it. So it may not be specific to you. Because the first thing we're thinking like, oh, what did I do wrong? Did I sleep enough? Did I eat wrong? Did I do the wrong things? Did I stress too much? Did I have too much on my mind? That's what crossed my mind, but I realized I've actually been sleeping more than average. So that could not be it. And yet I have had several days of continuous headache, and I'm even feeling now like some tension in my head is close to headache. Yesterday as well. So first I checked, am I hydrated enough? Do I drink enough water? Checked, yes. Yes, actually I did. I have this 5-liter bottle that I almost empty every day, and that is aside from the tea that I drink. So staying hydrated is really important. And when I say hydrated, it means don't count your coffee. Instead, withdraw the number of cups of coffee that you're drinking from what you're actually drinking when you want to know if you're hydrated well enough or not. You need to compensate every cup of coffee with the double, at least, of volume of water. Certain teas can also dehydrate, so I prefer not to take regular teas but to use herbs. And yes, teas are herbs, but the ones that have thein in them, which is like caffeine, those, they can dehydrate you. But don't quote me on this, do your own research. Use Google. Google will tell you, hopefully, the truth. So it's important to sleep enough. So what is happening? What is causing all this crap? Well, first of all, talk about crap, the crap happening in the world. Especially for those in the West, because those in the Middle East, for them nothing has changed. Maybe they're getting less attention now, maybe that has changed, but they've been experiencing war and horror for the past hundreds, maybe thousands of years. It has never changed. But those in the West, we're experiencing this now in a different way. Those in Europe, we've had World War II, and since then we had in the Balkans some wars, and for many those were still far away. Now with the current war that started in Eastern Europe and the media attention on it, suddenly it came very close to home. Although it may be further away than the Balkan War that we had in the 90s, but still the media is making it it's on your doorstep. So a lot of people are really feeling this war, are being fed a lot of fear through the media. I'm not saying there are no horrors happening there, but horrors have been happening around the planet as long as we can remember. It just depends where the media wants you to focus on. In the US, at a certain moment, people started to realize the horrors of the Vietnam War, and so people started to revolt, and the Vietnam War had to be ended. Although a certain group of people wanted it to go on forever because it was good for business. And then, yeah, follow the money. That's what I always say. Just like today, follow the money. And then you know who's here to benefit from this war. And it may not be the one that everyone is saying that's the bad guy, and all the others are all the poor guys or the good guys. So like that. And so I would recommend you to switch off your TV, switch off your radio, stop listening, watching and reading the news. You can look for alternative news sites if you're really interested in what's going on in the world. But more importantly, I would focus first on what's happening to you, what's happening in your circle, your intimate circle, the larger circle, and then the even bigger circle. So the war is affecting me too. And it's not affecting me as many people are experiencing it. I have been volunteering for several years now for an NGO that is focused on preventing food waste. Maybe you saw my post about this. And recently I got involved more and have additional tasks, and within this NGO we have additional projects now because of the war, because of the refugees who come to town. I live in Bucharest, in Romania, so we have quite some refugees coming here, and these people need to be fed. So I'm not experiencing all the fear and stuff like that because I still don't watch the news. I see some stuff on social media sometimes, but I'm focused on what can I do to help other humans. We were already through the NGO helping people in need who needed food, who could not afford to buy food or not have enough to buy enough food for them and their families. Now we had to scale up our activities, which is not that easy, by the way. We need a lot more support, a lot more donations, and not just money. Yes, money also, but also donations from companies who have an excess of food, who have food that is getting close to the expiration date, and then send that to us, or deliver it directly where we ask them to do so. We have our drivers. We recently literally hired 3 people to be our drivers, to be available 5 to 7 days a week for a few hours to drive around, to pick up food from different locations and bring it to the locations where are refugees, but also locations where there are a lot of poor people. We have this social cantina that we are cooperating with through, for example, a supermarket who's sending its food that is close to expiration date to this cantina. And this canteen, yeah, it's the Romanian way, cantina. This canteen, it supplies food to poor people. So instead of that food getting destroyed or just thrown into the trash, it gets used while it's still healthy and people in need get it. And it's beautiful to see all the people that get involved. We have a monastery, the nuns are helping. We have a center of, how you call these women? The women who help giving birth, I forgot the name. They also took in a lot of refugees and are taking care of them. There is a student campus that has been transformed into a refugee center. And there are all these volunteers, and some people are getting paid, some people are doing it completely for free, that are helping and getting paid, by the way, to do this work. There's nothing wrong with it, because maybe these people already, due to all the crazy shit we went through, didn't have a job, or their jobs were not earning enough. I mean, many of us have felt the impact of 2 years of lockdowns and stuff like that. I experienced it myself as well. I lost a big client from the moment the lockdown started, and this client is far from having recovered yet. They have been bleeding money for 2 years. So my focus is on what can I do now. And I'm also offering my services to refugees who actually understand English, which is very important. Or I'll need to find somebody who speaks either Ukrainian or Russian to translate, but who also knows the correct vocabulary. Because, yeah, you may be able to order a beer or do some shopping in a certain country when you go visit, but having a conversation about trauma, emotions, things like that, that requires a different vocabulary. So all this is happening, and all this tension in the world, and the tension was always there, but it's increasing because there's more and more polarity. It's also being influenced by our wonderful sun, the star that's giving us life, that's keeping us alive. But that star is also vibrating in a different way now. There are a lot of solar flares, a lot of solar storms. The Schumann resonance is also fluctuating. And so all this together is amplifying everything. So there is awakening happening on this planet. This creates polarity. People are still asleep, people are awake. Like, hey, come on, there is a different way of looking at things. And then the solar activity and the Schumann resonance starting to fluctuate, getting higher, amplifies everything. So the tension amplifies. And that is a main cause for our exhaustion, for our headache, for our physical discomforts in general, lack of concentration, maybe even reduction of eyesight, not being able to focus properly. I experienced this week that I really had trouble to focus. And you can say, hey, we saw a picture of you with reading glasses. Yeah, but that was not the issue. My eyes simply didn't want to focus. And I had slept enough. Maybe not enough, but I slept much more than I usually sleep, and still I had that issue. So what I really recommend you here is to, like I said, stay hydrated. Make sure you sleep enough. Make sure you rest enough. There are two different things. If you're unable to sleep, maybe you need to change your rhythm. At least lay down. Relax. Reduce the amount of excitement you get. So digital screens, which have the blue light. There are apps for your phone, your tablets. There are little programs you can download and have it on your computer that even follows the sun cycle. But you can also set certain hours or just switch it on and switch it off to reduce the blue light from your screens, which help you to calm down and to not be so activated. Blue light is the one that actually is telling your brain like, hey, it's time to be awake. Listening to more peaceful music, going into nature, going into a park, having a walk, and then just sit down, sit in the grass, touch a tree for 10 to 20 seconds to ground. There's literally grounding happening, electromagnetic grounding. Surround yourself with people who bring you peace. Otherwise, stay alone. Focus on what you can do, not on all the things you cannot influence. This is really important. Worrying about the war is only gonna drain your energy and weaken you physically and emotionally. Focusing on what you can do, like what I'm doing now. Oh, there are these refugees here. They already have shelter, but they need food. And I'm supporting this food bank. So what can I do? Okay, that is where my focus is. So in the past month or so, I've been talking a lot with the president of the food bank about what can we do more? How can we get more people on board? How can we get more companies to supply us? Not just because of the war, but in general. We saw that we had to level up. We wanted to level up already. But then the war started, so we're forced now to level up even more because we wanted already to help more locals who are in need. And now we have all these refugees which came in, which are hundreds of people that we really need to help. And I don't want to put the pressure on ourselves to say we have to help all of them, because I also believe there are others who can also support. But we will do what we can to help as many. And unfortunately, there are days where we cannot supply some of these centers. And we don't have the funds to go ourselves and buy food and bring it to them. That's why I'm saying we need support. We need help. And you in your own country, you can do the same. You can find an NGO that's already doing this or start one. And you can start by just going to shops or supermarkets and talk with the manager and say, hey, there's this refugee center. I'm volunteering to bring daily or a few times a week food from you to that center or supplies. These people also will need clothes and stuff. Most of the refugees came with maybe a suitcase. But that's it. And how much can you put in a suitcase? A friend of mine asked me to fix her laptop. To get her a new laptop, and she sent me the two old laptops and take the data off, and then she said, do whatever you want with these old two. And from these two old ones I made one that works properly, and that one also went to the NGO. So there are a lot of things we can do, and if you feel to start up something and you don't know exactly how, you can contact me. Ask and look around. Maybe there's an NGO that you can jump into. Maybe you can team up with neighbors or friends to start doing something. The first thing that is needed is people who are willing to do something, even if they don't know exactly what to do. And from there, things can start to roll. So focusing on these things that are in front of you that you can actually act on, which can also be your business, your study, your family, whatever it is you're doing. But focusing on where you have your influence, and aside from that, bringing more peace into your life and working on your inner peace will help you get through these difficult periods and will help reduce the amount of headache, tiredness, tension in your body, stress, all of that. So see what's possible. If you need help, contact me. I'm planning on organizing a grounding course, which is really important because grounding is crucial. Reducing stress, releasing stress. After having been to one of the refugee centers, the president of the NGO and I, we both felt the heaviness and the tiredness. So we had to do some grounding and some energetic cleaning. And I told her what she can do. So the next time she went, she came home and she was fine because she didn't absorb the heaviness and the sadness and the trauma that is there. Because these energies are there. These people are traumatized. These people have experienced a lot of horrible things. And if you're doing volunteering work, you may encounter this. Maybe you stop at the door and just deliver the stuff and you walk away. You will not experience a lot. But maybe you'll have to go in and then you'll feel things. So reduce your exposure through TV and stuff like that and work on yourself. Good luck. Don't be afraid or ashamed to ask for help. And feel free to share how are you dealing at this moment with what you're encountering in your life. Have a wonderful day. See you soon. Like, subscribe, and share.